They call him the cracker, the splinter, the thin man from St. on any man's bowling team.
Dick Weber, because I think back in the day that bowling was a lot harder than it is now. He had one ball, or two maybe, and each house reacted differently, and sometimes you had to play the first arrow, sometimes you had to play the fourth arrow. And when you can play the first arrow and win and play the fourth arrow and win back in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, that was bowling, because that's what I grew up on, and bowling was a lot harder then than it is now.
Thank you, champ. Dick Weber is the winner, ladies and gentlemen.
Fountain Valley, California, not far from Los Angeles. CSPN presents live coverage of a Denny's PBA Tour special event, the 2006 Dick Weber Open, where we turn back the clock with a five-man, four-match format and honor the memory of the great Dick Weber. Now all five finalists are ready to roll.
The number 5 seed from Homestead Falls, Ohio, Chris Loschetter. The number 4 seed from Erie, Pennsylvania, Mike Machuga. The number 3 seed from Claremont, Florida, Norm Duke. The number 2 seed from Claremont, Florida, Jason Couch. And our tournament leader from Jackson, New Jersey, Parker Bohn III.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome. Fountain Valley, Southern California. So glad you could join us. Dave Ryan, my partner, Randy Peters, alongside. Sundays are indeed for bowling. And on this very special Sunday, we pay tribute, Randy, to one of the all-time great gentlemen and bowlers, Dick Weber. And we asked our 5 finalists yesterday in interviews about Dick. They all had one reaction, didn't they?
They sure did. You know, Dick will always be known as the greatest ambassador our sport has ever had. And, you know, I knew Dick personally, and he was just a great guy. Never met a stranger. And it didn't matter if you were Earl Anthony or a guy in his first year on the tour. He treated everyone the same.
In honor of Dick Weber, we have an old-school format here for this event here in Southern California. 15 games of qualifying. We had 24 bowlers after that. Round-robin match play in 3 different 8-game blocks, leading us to 5-man step-ladder finals, just like in the day when Dick Weber was a star.
Yeah, and you know, the ticket this week was winning matches because you got 30 bonus points for a win. So if you shot 269 and won, it was like shooting 299. You can make big moves.
And Randy, our top seed is Parker Bohn III. He awaits all challengers at the top of the ladder. For him, a very special event this week.
Yeah, it really is. You know, Parker's won 30 times out here. He won a tournament that was named after him. He won the inaugural Earl Anthony Open back in 2001. But he said if he were to win today, it would be his biggest win of his career.
Jason Couch is the 2 seed. First win this year for him in Chicagoland. Number 3 is Norm Duke. And Norm, his 4th TV show of the year, a chance for Player of the Year honors. There's Loschetter and Mike Machuga. Loschetter goes for his first career title. Machuga won in Omaha, our first match.
And I won my very first title back in 1986, qualifying in the number 5 spot. I went through the field and won my first title in Union City, California, the AC Delta Classic.
4-pin for the pride of Erie, Pennsylvania. Said to us last night, his life has changed dramatically since that first PBA Tour win in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just across the Nebraska line earlier this season. Recognized more around town. When he got back to the holiday break, a local TV station called him up and said, "Hey, we'd like an interview. You're a big star now." Now Mike is thinking about more wins. Maybe the Hall of Fame someday that he's on the list. And has that banner as a Denny's PBA Tour champion. What a story for our young bowler from Homestead Falls, Ohio, just outside Cleveland. Originally a Floridian, Randy, like yourself. Went to one of your bowling clinics as a youngster with his wife, Erin, who's getting her master's degree at Cleveland State. A little bit further down the road for her in education. A light hit. First time we've seen Chris on TV since the World Championship last year.
And interesting right off the bat, Chris a little bit further right of Mike Machuga, and I thought it would have been the other way around. Chris played pretty much in for the most part of the tournament, especially when the lane started to break down. We'll get into that when we look at our oil pattern.
Chris started his collegiate bowling career at Nebraska, transferred then to Florida State where he finished up. And that leads us to our first Ace Hardware matchup of the day in our stepladder final.
Remember, this week was all about winning matches, and Chris Loschetter had a losing match play record. But because he averaged so high, in fact, he was in first place after the third round of qualifying just to get into match play. So even though he didn't win matches, he still bowled big games and accumulated enough pins to get him to the TV show.
See the strike percentage numbers. And that's off the mark, too. Another light hit, switch zone. As he leaves the 2-4-10. What's going on here, Randy?
Well, again, this ball went light. In the first frame, he only left the 2-pin. This one's a little bit further right, and he pays for it. 2-4-10. Get the ball to the left side of the 2-pin, slide it over into the 10. The ball will take care of the 4.
Chris, the Tour Trials champion, Chicagoland last summer. That's how he got his exemption. Now spare cannot convert, leaves it open. As the 10-pin stands for Chris Loschetter. Our 5th seed in the stepladder format, and early on an opening for Mike Machuga. The best amongst the best with 2 perfect games. We watched that final round robin match play, positioning round on Friday. Right in front of me, Robert Smith through a 300 game. All 10 down for the guy they call Choose from Erie, Pennsylvania. So after getting that win, Randy, he's kind of bolting quietly up the points list. He's number 10 heading into this show today.
Yeah, and you can see that he's starting to get real confident, and that's what a win will do for you. But, you know, you're talking about those 300 games. He bowled 2 300 games in the same block Thursday night, match play, and also had a 280.
45-foot strip pattern. It's different than the normal PBA Tour pattern. As Machuga sends all 10 down into the pit. Perfect shot.
That's a good shot.
He looks comfortable. We'll see Norm Duke later in the show. He and Norm are very good friends, and Duke has been the teacher while Machuga has been the pupil. Norm told us, I've got to stop teaching Mike Machuga things. He's getting to be dangerous out here. Ups and downs for Loschetter. This week in match play, that's a high shot, so he over-adjusts. And he has not found the pocket yet, Randy.
Yeah, he just tried to square it up a little bit, and looks like Chris is trying to go a little bit straighter than I think he needs to. I mean, I would get into where Machuga is. Chris is very good at hooking it. In fact, he told us that some of his early struggles this season was because he was trying to hook it too much. But right now, I think he's trying to go too straight.
Just his second show, folks. Keep that in mind. He told us that tour trial experience was valuable, but he never wants to go back. It was a very big challenge for him, and look out. The double wood stands, takes care of the 10. Another open frame. Back-to-back in frames 2 and 3, and the lead huge for Machuga so early in the match at 36 pins. Are the nerves getting to Chris Loschetter?
I don't think it's so much that he's nervous. I just think that he's not real comfortable with his ball reaction. I'm looking for him to make a ball change here any minute and do something different, because what he's doing right now certainly isn't working.
4 and 4 in the first round of match play, 2 and 6 in the second, 4 and 4 in the final round. He had a 5-game losing streak in the second round of match play, so that's why he's the only bowler under 500 in match play coming into the TV show. But all those numbers are thrown out now. It's head-to-head with Mike Machuga, and he's found the pocket.
And Dave, watch this. You can see this ball's completely different reaction. Looks like he's moved in, a little more side rotation, and a completely different ball reaction. And he's like, you know what? Maybe that's what I should have started with.
Not too late. The opens early can be overcome. We'll see. Fourth frame, turkey chance here. Machuga blitzes the rack again.
Well, those open frames came early for Loschetter, but You know, it's only going to help if Machuga gives him a chance, and right now, Mike's got his foot firmly on Lochetter's throat and looking to go 56 up with a four-bagger. I'm sorry, 46 up with a four-bagger.
Quite possibly. Major name, up-and-coming star on the PBA Tour, Mike Machuga. He's got that first win. It took him 79 events to get his first title.
Wheel a lot. That's the break.
A bit of a light hit, but still not too much damage, just the 2-pin.
Yeah, that was kind of the key this week. You know, when he did go light, he only left the 2-pin, and Mike knows that he's fortunate here. He could have left a 210 or 2-8-10 easily, just leaving him a simple single-pin spare.
November 13th of 05, a day you won't forget. Bill O'Neill in the finals in Omaha after knocking out Dave Traber in the semis. The O'Neill match 256-245. At least 2 shows, 3 years in a row now. And with a win today, Mike Machuga would already realize a career high in earnings. $30,000 and a 1-year tour exemption goes to the winner today. Step ladder finals. We're going old school to pay tribute to Dick Weber. Way light again.
Well, you know, it looked like Chris took an awful long time getting up on the right lane to throw this shot, and to me, he's just confused. On this right lane especially, this ball here never grabs down the lane. Misses the head pin.
Just finished before this week, 15th. That was in Denver. And Chris told us last night. Takes care of the high number of pins there for his mark. Got a call from Justin Kostick, Doug Kaburski, who was a former roommate of his at Nebraska, and both teammates with the Huskers. They called and said, you got to shape up a little bit. Don't feel so sorry for yourself. You're a great bowler. You've got the potential. Just got to focus, put all the tools together. And Chris said that phone call really helped.
Yeah, and that plus the break during the holidays probably helped him clear his mind a little bit and go back to doing what Chris Loschetter does best.
Saw his wife Erin earlier. She's a bowler herself. Unfortunately, he just can't get the range going. There's a washout and a light hit. And the 1-6-10 up.
This looked like a pretty good shot off his hand, except for the fact that it was a little bit wide, but again, ball doesn't hook up and misses the head pin. I think it's just a bad ball choice.
Not an easy mark, and look out. Leaves the head pin, another open frame. That's his third in what has been a disastrous match for Chris Loschetter. He's down 59 pins to Mike Machuga, who can put this thing in cruise control and try to wrap it up and move his way up the ladder. We've got more coming up. The Dick Weber Open on ESPN is brought to you by Denny's. We're cooking now. By Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. This year, let the tax experts at Jackson Hewitt help you get the biggest refund you deserve. By BowlersParadise.com, the official online retailer of the Professional Bowlers Association. Log on today and win a free ball. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. Midway through match 1 here at the Dick Weber Open, Fountain Valley, California, near Los Angeles. There is Pete, Dick's son and PBA Hall of Famer in his own right. 32 titles in his great career, including in Hammond, Indiana this year. Very emotional day, certainly, for Pete. And we are very glad to see him out honoring his father today. Leading us, Randy, to the oil pattern, old school in tribute to Dick Weber. We have strip patterns today at 45 feet.
Yeah, it's old school in terms of strips, but I don't think I've ever bowled on a 45-foot strip pattern, but we did this week. But what was disturbing about this week was the light amount of volume in the front part of the lane. And what that did was it made your ball hook early. The righty started in between first and second arrow. You had strips, so there was a little oil here, then it started to get dry, then there was a little oil here. So when you made a move, it had to be a big move. The lefties, with less traffic on their side of the lane, they were able to stay in the same part of the lane for a little longer period of time.
Jason Couch told us, to the best of his memory, last time the PBA used strip oil pattern, 1995 in Maryland. That was his most recent recollection.
Yeah, and you know, there was a big deal this week about lefty versus righty. Did the left have an advantage? Did the right, you know, was it unfair? And, you know, I think Jason said it best. There were 6 lefties in the match play. Ooh, ring 10 by Mike Machuga. But getting back to what I was saying, Jason Couch said if the lanes were so easy on the left, we would have had 5 lefties on the telecast today. And I think that's a good point.
So we have a balanced field. We have 2 outstanding left-handers still to come on our show today. Jason Couch, Parker Bohn III, the top seed. Norm Duke up here as well. He is next. Could be against Mike Machuga, his protege. As Machuga continues his long streak now without an open frame. He came in with 33 straight, 6 more now. This guy's been hot all week, Randy. Had a 23 bagger in the first round of match play. 23 straight strikes, including a 300 game.
Yeah, he was making him look pretty easy in match play.
Seventh frame, 58-pin lead.
Play there.
See that ball jerk right there in the middle part of the lane? That's exactly what I was talking about. Because of the light volume, a couple more, especially on TV day with all the bodies sitting around the stadium here, the lanes, the lights. This oil is going to go quick. And what's disturbing about this is you see how deep Mike Machuga is already, and it's only game 1. When these guys were warming up prior to this match, they were playing straight up second arrow.
How much further can he go is the question. Takes care of the mark. 7th frame. Now, what we saw from Mike the other night in the round-robin match play was extreme loft. He said he was going as far as 15 feet down lane.
Yeah, he would move way left, and the only way to get the ball down the lane was to loft it and clear that front part, that dry head area. He would loft over that and get his ball easier to the break point.
Back to Loschetter now. Our 5th seed. Gets a break. Late hit. And gets a strike. Although he was down 57 pins heading into that shot.
And although this kid's struggling, as you see his wife Erin, you know, Chris Loschetter is a great bowler, and he proved it at tour trials when he led the competition there 5 grueling days, 9 games a day. And you see what he did this week in wins and losses. I mean, he was solid all week long. He was in 3rd going into position round when he lost to Mike Machuga, and then Norm Duke leapfrogged both of them with a big 260 closer.
Gets a break on a couple of pins there, but he's just not in the right zone. Another light hit for him and leaves the 10-pin. He says that tour trial week, Randy, was the hardest of his life. And there are no circumstances you want to go back. Looking for his first ever title. Does not look like it'll happen today. He made the finals of the World Championship last year, lost to the eventual champ, Patrick Allen. Takes care of the 10-pin. He told us last night, well, it was a good experience, but that event in April was a long time ago. I've kind of moved on from the World Championship final appearance. And that's part of the progression of a young player. You got to forget the highs and the lows and think about today.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think because of his experience at the World Championships and at tour trials, he had greater expectations coming out here, being an exempt player, and it just hasn't worked out that well for him. You see Mike Machuga already in front of the ball return on the right lane.
And watch his moves, watch the progress. And I'm telling you, folks, if he goes to that loft technique to get the ball down lane to beat the oil, it almost looks like a skills challenge trick shot. It's so far down.
That ball's already at the 26th board at the arrows. I mean, I would say realistically, Mike Machuga's got 4 or 5 more boards that he can play with on that side of the lane before he runs out of room.
8th career TV appearance for Mike Machuga, who, like Chris Loschetter, started his collegiate bowling career at Nebraska. He was a Husker for a couple of years between 94 and 96. Foundation frame. All 10 down for Machuga, who ends this one with a huge, resounding victory over Chris Loschetter in the first match. And now he's got to take on one of his best friends, his idols, his mentors in Norm Duke. They are very close, have never met on TV until today. That is going to be interesting. Loschetter will finish up here with a 9-pin. It's been a great week for Chris. Not overly pleased, as we mentioned, with his first half. But improvements on the way for Chris Loschetter. Also told us that he did get to meet Dick Weber after he beat Pete in Indianapolis in a PBA event. He looked in the stands, saw Dick there watching, and realized, well, Dick Weber's rooting against me. I'm not sure I can make it through this. I'm not sure I can stand up. But he did, and Dick, of course, in his incredible way, absolute gentleman of the game, congratulated Chris Loschetter, despite the fact he'd beaten his son Pete in a match, and said, good luck to you down the road.
Yeah, he wasn't nervous until he saw Dick standing back there.
Remember the Junior Olympic team in 2001. Definitely an up-and-comer. Chris Loschetter will learn from this experience today. We're going to fast-track through since Machuga has wrapped it up as the 4 seed, going for his second career title. He's already exempt for next year. He's going to take on Norm Duke, who leads the PBA Tour in points. He is #1 ranked in the world right now and has 7 top 10 finishes. This is going to be a great match coming up.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We asked Machuga if he wins again, will we see the Machuga flop? He said, stay tuned. So if you're thinking about touching that remote control, don't do it. Machuga is one of the game's great showmen.
Ugly ball reaction, unfortunately, for Chris Loschetter today. He'll be back.
In the bowling world, they call this getting run over. As Norm Duke awaits. He will be next to take on Mike Machuga. They've met many times, Norm told us, in match play, but never on television. And Norm knows his good buddy, his pupil, will be a very interesting matchup. The great Norm Duke awaits Mike Machuga. It's all coming up as we pay tribute to the late, great Dick Weber.
Hi, I'm Norm Duke from Claremont, Florida. All right, what do you want to hear? Stay tuned.
#159th PBA event in the Golden State here in California, 15th in the Orange County area. Last year, Mike Machuga made the finals. Lost to Brian Goss in the Orange County Classic. Now it's Norm Duke and Mike Machuga. Step ladder, match 2. Machuga just moments ago defeating Chris Loschetter. Handling 236 to 154. The winner will take on Jason Couch in the next match. Winner of that one, all the way up the ladder. The top seed, Parker Bohn III, a Hall of Famer, awaits. Great day, great bowlers. Paying tribute to Dick Weber on the Denny's PBA Tour. Match 2 underway. No help on number 9. Almost toppled.
You know, and I think there's a big advantage in this match for Mike Machuga simply because of the fact that he's got 1 game under his belt. He's got momentum on his side. He knows how the lanes are playing. Norm's coming in fresh with only 4 practice balls to start this match.
So that's why the step ladder is so different. In the regular format, semifinal winners got to wait for that final match. They got to wait a match and a skills challenge, part of our broadcast. There's some time now. If you win, you're right back on the lanes.
Exactly.
22 titles. The pride of Claremont, one of the 2 from Claremont, Florida, on our show today, along with Jason Couch. Good start for him, and a guy named Randy Peterson may also live in Claremont, too.
Yeah, they beat me handily, though. The matchup of the student and the pupil, and as you said, Dave Ryan, Norm said that he wasn't going to help Mike Machuga anymore. He said he's getting too good, and you could see the game plan of Norm Duke. Something that he did this week was go real straight from that first strip. Anything outside second arrow this week on the right was Out of bounds.
Here's a 7-pin. Norman, his 4th show of the year. That is tied for first on the Denny's PBA Tour list with Wes Malott.
And in order to get the ball to go this straight, number one, you need to use a ball that's fairly aggressive, but you have to back your hand out, cut your rev rate down, reduce your hook, and just kind of feather the ball right at the 1-3.
It's all about touch.
Norm averaged over 250 in the second round of qualifying, doing just that.
7-pin for him. We saw all the numbers of the great Norm Duke, who told us last night. 4th show of the year. Am I thinking about player of the year? I'm going to win player of the year. He's got to win some tournaments, though, starting today to get himself there. He's surpassed Mike Scroggins as the points leader. He was 4th on that list coming into this week. Now he is number 1. Crossing over, high shot there from Machuga.
Regroup.
Lanes break down, these strip oil patterns. That's when changes all come into play.
Yeah, this ball never makes it to the right. And, you know, Mike struck out in the 10th frame on that lane. And Norm came out and practiced, threw a couple shots, and all of a sudden the lanes break down. Mike will make a move on that lane.
2nd time this year, stepladder final for Norm. Remember, he was the top seed at the Masters in Milwaukee, but lost to Mike Scroggins. What he called one of the most disappointing setbacks of his career. Look out. A chop and an open. It is early, 2nd frame.
Yeah, Mike decides to throw a straight ball at this spare, and it's a tough spare this week because if you get it too far to the right, like Loschetter did in the first match, it misses everything right. So Mike decides to go with a straight ball, and he chops the 3-9 off of the 6, his first open in 43 frames.
Yeah, mentioned that stat for you in the first match with Loschetter.
Ball change.
Ball change, no doubt about it. You can see that clearly, and a nice adjustment for Machuga. And that was a big concern with him last night, our interview with him about the oil breaking down. ESPN's coverage of the PBA Tour rolls on. Phoenix Classic, the greatest bowlers in the world, work the lanes at AMF Christown Lanes in the Phoenix area. Piece of the $232,000 prize fund. The PBA Tour on ESPN Sunday at 1 Eastern. Mika Koivuniemen won there last year. Mika made the finals in Medford last week, lost to Brian Himmler. As Duke has the range, looking strong.
Uses the full approach. He's got his heels off the back of that approach there. Generates momentum to the foul line. And Norm has made a tremendous living doing this right here.
Match 2 stepladder finals here in Fountain Valley. The winner take on Jason Couch. 13-pin lead for Norm Duke. Pete Weber is certainly very emotional. And last tribute to his dad, Dick. Great to see Pete here, taking it all in. Gives us a chance. Denny's PBA Tour on the road. Motel 6 Phoenix Classic is coming your way. Last season, Mika Koivuniemen won the title on nearby Mesa in 2000. AMF Christown Lanes played host to the qualifying and match play portions of the U.S. Open. Be sure to log on to PBA.com for all the Pro-Am sites. Tickets there. And then the Jackson Hewitt Tax Service Classic, January 25th to the 29th, Trussville, Alabama, near Birmingham. Don't forget, Jackson Hewitt Tax Service recently announcing a $1 million bonus to any player winning the remaining 3 majors this season. U.S. Open Gettysburg Championship, the Dexter Tournament of Champions as well. A lot of incentive thanks to our friends at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Mike Machuga's made that ball change on the right lane, Dave.
All 10 down.
Yeah, now it's a 3-pin match. Mike Machuga looks like he's getting locked in again. Makes the ball change so he can stay in the same zone. You know, that's what Jason Couch told us he did all week last night. Jason said he stayed in the same zone and just started with aggressive equipment and just started to go from there. When the lane started to burn up, just went weaker and weaker and weaker with equipment, with surface, and with his hand.
Look out, it's a 7-10.
Wow. He made a really good shot there. It was wide, but he got enough hand in it to get this ball to come back.
Something
and then
about that lane.
Just an awful, awful break.
Last year here, too. Which side?
1991. Just stay rooking, Tucson, Arizona. Last time it's been done. Only 3 times on TV.
Come on, just like minnows. Make it one time. Get out there.
How about number 4? Nope. 7 up for Chugs. And he said he has watched a tape of his win in Omaha about 250 times. When he got back, his dad, Richard, some other family friends are waiting for him in the apartment back in Erie to celebrate. He had watched the tape more than Mike had already. All 10 down for Norm Duke, trying to take advantage of the open frame in the 7th from Machuga. As we mentioned, the Denny's march to the World Championship. Norm Duke, top ranked right now in the world, surpassing Mike Scroggins. Duke entered the week number 4 in the rankings. Wes Vallon had the 4 shows, but those were early in the year. The win in Denver. Tommy Jones had the back-to-back wins to start our season.
And Couch and Parker coming up. That's a pretty strong top 8 list.
Looks for the turkey here. 8th frame. Got a chance to really bury Mike Machuga. He'll go up 37 pins.
That was DO8 off his hand. That ball had no chance of hooking up. I mean, you got to touch the holes a little bit to get the ball to back end, just a hair, and this one looks like it was just a wet bar of soap right out of his hand. Leaves the bucket.
Takes care of it for his mark. Low pin count on that first ball will affect things certainly, and Machuga will try to take advantage.
Real easy to chop that, but Norm is an excellent spare shooter. Right now the situation is simple. Mike Machuga can strike out for 212. Norm Duke is going at a 205 pace.
The door opens up again. Can Machuga take advantage? All 10 down. Made that ball change after our last commercial break. Adjustments are critical.
Mike likes the right lane better than the left lane according to those numbers. I think he's pretty good on that left lane. The bad break with pocket 710 the last time he was up on this lane.
Jason Couch awaits, has the 2 seed. 10 pin.
Yeah, and right now, the only thing that's keeping Mike Machuga from being in this match is bad breaks. This is a great shot. And at least this time he gets the 7 pin out, Dave.
Bringing 10. Look at the ball. Take out everything but that 10.
6 goes right around it. That's why we call it the ringing 10.
That's big. 9th foundation frame. Does take care of the mark. However, just a spare in the 9th. For the pupil against the teacher. These two, as we mentioned, very close friends. They practice a lot together. They golf together. They hang out all the time, away from the lanes.
Same deal.
What's happened with Norm here?
Just, you know, he's got to be real careful out there, because if he touches too much, or if he tries to hit the ball at the bottom of the swing too much, it's going to hook early and go high. So his release point is real critical. But right now, all Norm Duke has to do is stay clean, and he'll advance.
Norm will work on the grip now.
It looks like the 2 pin's okay, but the other, I mean, there's this distance between
He
both.
wants a reset of the pins on that spare.
What?
It didn't look right when they came back down.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. The machine will pick pins up and set them down off
right.
spot. Now, as long as
ask.
another pin doesn't get in between those pins, and moves them around, Norm can ask for them to be put back on spot.
And what's Norm working on with his equipment, Randy?
Working on that tape. He's always fiddling with that tape. He's got a cork insert that goes in his thumb, and he's always fiddling with that thing. Norm's fidgety, and he's that's his thing, man. He's always trying to move that cork around and tape and all kinds of stuff going on there with Norm in his grip and equipment.
He likes to ice opponents sometimes.
I didn't say that.
Gamesmanship sometimes. Give you some more time to think about a big shot like this. He does cover nicely to stay clean with a mark.
Yeah, he barely covered it. And again, now all he needs is to stay clean, and he'll be in the 200s or high 190s depending on count. But he almost chops this and lets Mike Machuga right back in the match.
There's no marks here.
Whoa.
Strike.
Exactly.
That was close. He just really lost the ball reaction on that lane. Just needs the mark now. All Mike Machuga can do is watch. Better ball, 10 down, and a winner.
This guy's tough as nails. You want to know why? He used to bowl pot games when he was 15, 16 years old with no money in his pocket. I mean, that's where that's the school of hard knocks. That's where you grow up real quick, because if you lose, you don't have anything to pay the guy that just beat you with. That's why Norm is so tough in match play and so good on television. Here you go.
Needed one, gets 10 instead, and he will advance to take on Jason Couch in our stepladder final. We'll fast track through the rest of this. Mike Machuga, some mistakes early. Second frame open. Trouble in the 7th as well. Opens the door enough for Norm Duke. But if I'm Norm, I'm a bit worried about the ball reaction on a couple of those clutch shots he needed.
Yeah, if I'm Norm Duke, I'm thinking it's going to take a lot more than 212 to beat Jason Couch. Remember the last time Duke faced Jason Couch was in Chicago. Jason Couch beat Norm and went on to win the title.
The good friends shake hands. One advances, one is done for the day. It's Norm Duke, and he'll take on Jason Couch. It's a great matchup. Don't go away.
Jason Couch, Claremont, Florida.
Oh, really?
What am I doing? Second seed. Don't see anybody but Parker Bohn in my way.
The Dick Weber Open on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. And by Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. For the lowest price of any national chain, go to motel6.com. We are getting set for match number 3. Dick Weber Open live coverage here on ESPN of the Denny's PBA Tour. We'll find Randy Peterson, our entire crew. Well, Randy's from Claremont. Norm's from Claremont. Jason is from Claremont. I'm the odd man out from Syracuse here.
Time to move, pal.
These guys live just a couple of miles apart near Orlando. In fact, their kids go to the same school. Jason's wife, Kim, is here. Norm's son, Brandon, and Jason's daughters, Courtney and Haley, go to Cypress Ridge Elementary together. Who has bragging rights on Monday? We'll find out. Look, how is that ball out the mark? What happened?
I don't know. I mean, he totally lost this off his hand, got it right, or got it left, rather. And you can see all the oil outside on both sides of the lane. Jason, some footing problems, but that was just a big, wide left shot.
Whoa.
And left himself with a pretty tough spare, 1-5-10. Get his ball to hook into it, drive the 1, into the 10, the ball cover the 5.
Not the shot you would anticipate off of Couch's first ball of the day. Look at that. Sprayed around the 5 and the 10 and open.
These are one of my trick shots.
For Jason Couch, or maybe the nerves will be past now.
So on any other lane condition, Dave, because of the amount of hook that Jason has, his ball would have gone into that 5, and he probably would have covered that spare. But because the lanes are so slick down the lane, tough to get ball reaction, the hook in the back part of the lane.
Norm Duke apparently has overcome his issues in the last game against Mike Machuga, leading us to the Ace Hardware matchup, match 3, stepladder final today, Randy.
See, both guys are great in match play, and again, this is the old school format, round robin match play, all about winning matches, but this is all about bragging rights for Claremont, Florida. Of course, I can't really be a part of that, Dave, and you know, my kids don't go to that school. Apparently you have to bowl on television to be allowed in.
Light hit again there for Norm Duke, who, as quickly as he found the look on the prior lane, struggles a bit here.
Yeah, this is a second consecutive shot on this lane that he's gone real light. Doesn't look good on that lane for Norm Duke.
2, 4, 5, 7. Unusual leave, to be sure. Head to PBA.com for all the latest news, stats, player features during the tour's second half. In addition, the online store at PBA.com, the best place to buy all the latest PBA merchandise, everything from fleeces and hoodies to hats and T-shirts. Check it all out today at PBA.com. Lane level look, Norm Duke finishes nicely. Couple of unusual spares we've seen back-to-back.
Well, it's, you know, that's like the bucket, except the 8-pin is not there, and you replace it with the 7-pin, 2, 4, 5, 7. Not terribly unusual, but most of the time you're just leaving the 2, 4, 5 or the 2, 4, 5, 8, which would be the bucket for a right-hander.
Let's see as Norm goes back to the thumb hole.
Man, Captain Fidget.
Always working. How does Couch react to that first disaster? That's a big break.
And that's exactly what you expected. This one was going to be right because of the first shot that he threw where he whipped the head pin on the left lane. Beautiful break here. Nothing wrong with getting a break or two. As the bird dog comes over and takes out the 4-7, Jason gives it the thumbs up.
Talked to us last night about having to throw the ball straighter, about adjustments he has to make. So many bowlers have made changes to become more versatile. Well, now it's the strip oil pattern. Different changes in mind. Wow. That was a ring 7.
Give and take, folks. Give and take.
You know what? I think you really got to give a lot of credit to Jason Couch because, you know, he told us as you take a look at this last shot he threw where he buries it and leaves a ring at 7. You know, he's constantly evolving like everyone else. And contrary to popular belief, yes, the lefties do make adjustments. They do make changes. But, you know, you're seeing Jason Couch as he shoots 7-pin here. Look out. Wow. You know, he's gone through the changes. And, you know, he told us last night that every year he comes out here throwing it straighter and straighter and straighter. Now, he qualified second for this event on playing the lanes exactly the opposite of what he likes to do. He likes to hook it and go around it, and he went real straight all week.
Third frame, Norm Duke. 10-pin.
Boy.
A lot of manipulation going on right now, trying to get the ball to face the pocket on both sides of the lane. Players are using all their tools and all their tricks to try to get the ball to face up and strike when it does hit the pocket.
Single pin numbers. Leads us to a discussion point, Randy, about ball weight. Now, for a while, the trend seemed to be 15 pounds, but Norm and some others going back to the max 16.
Well, Norm and Machuga, they've used 16 forever. And Brian Voss, 16-pounder. Chris Barnes, another guy that's used 16 pounds forever. Jason Couch uses 15. Now, you know, Jason Couch is a power player. He's got a high rev rate, a lot of power. He doesn't need 16 pounds. Norm Duke needs it because of the way he's playing the lanes today. He does that a lot. You need that extra pound just to get that 8-10 out. Nice.
7-pin there. Had an 11-pin lead before that shot. Other finishers, bottom of your screen, including last year's Player of the Year Patrick Allen, Chris Barnes,
Give and take.
returning from his back injury. 24 bowler round robin match play. The last game Friday night here was a thrilling moment with all the bowlers out there. Position round.
Robert Smith bowled 300 in position round. Joey C. right there, 24th.
Joe made the finals, lost to Jason Couch, of course, in Chicago this season.
I guarantee you, for those of you watching at home, the players' carry wasn't anything like this during the week.
Last time these players met Randy, November 27th, Norm Duke losing there to Couch, 235-232. Semifinals. PJ Golf coming away. The Sony Open tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 here on the West Coast. Dave Toms, wow, 61 yesterday, and along with Chad Campbell. Running away with that event. They are tied at 14 under, heading into the final round.
With a strip pattern, you can see just how ugly the lanes can turn. I talked to Walter Ray Williams Jr. yesterday. He looked at the graph on the wall in the locker room. He says he's never bowled on a pattern like this in his 25-year career.
3-pin KO there by Jason Couch. High game this week came against Norm Duke in match play. I told you a moment ago about the last head-to-head on TV, won by Couch in a slugfest. 235-232 in Chicago.
Come on, come on.
So that win really bolstering his confidence. It's been a good season for him. Shots like that will continue the trend.
Went to a stronger, more aggressive bowling ball, Dave, playing the same zone.
Good ball change.
You can see that ball really grabbed the lane and went really hard into the pocket. But again, for a power player, that's dangerous. You touch a little bit too much of the finger holes, the ball overhooks, goes right through the nose.
Light hit and a break just to have the 2-pin for Norm Duke. Could have been worse.
And I like the line that Norm's playing, but I think it's the wrong ball because this ball doesn't back end at all. Watch this. Normally you see change of direction down the lane. That ball has none. He needs a ball with a little bit.
Just not reacting at the tail end of this 45-foot strip old school oil pattern we have for the Dick Weber Open here in Fountain Valley, California. Paying tribute to the late great Dick Weber, who passed on about a year ago. As Norm goes back to the equipment.
Yeah, he's going to make
thumb hole adjustments.
He's going to make a ball change here, I think. I think he's going to throw the red ball that will back in a little bit harder than the green ball he was throwing, just because of the dynamics of the inside of the bowling ball. A little cleaner through the front part of the lane, which is going to allow it to hook a little bit more in the back part of the lane.
Gotta do it.
We will see several on that lane of very flat shots, just not getting into the pocket.
Now, will his mind allow him to pull the shot off, believing that this is the right adjustment? Oh, he went to the big hook.
Big hook, big change, and all 10 down for Norm Duke. Wow, what a big adjustment with a new ball, and he likes the reaction, certainly. We saw at the Japan Cup and at the Masters. He was the top seed, did very well, but lost those two to Tommy Jones and to Mike Scroggins. More coming up.
Tie.
All 10 down.
Right back to the straight ball, Dave. I think that's the right move, too. You know, the hook ball just looks too iffy. Norm Duke, what he needs to do is, when that ball's not getting up to the pocket, move a little bit right, keep your target the same, firm your speed up, and jam it right into the 1-3. Now, if Norm Duke strikes first ball in the 10th frame and goes 9 spare, we have a possibility of the tie. Jason can strike out and also shoot 213. 2 strikes to shut out Jason Couch.
Couch can't even watch. Right at him.
huge, huge, huge. He made a ball change, got a double with it. One ball goes high, says, you know what, I don't like it, goes back to what he was doing. Not too much hooping it up there because he knows he needs one more to shut out Jason Couch. Again, management. Managing your tools, managing your mental game.
Wow. 10-pin.
Possibility of a tie now. Norm Duke makes this. Couch will need all three in the 10th to tie.
Talk about pressure coming up for Jason Couch.
This needed just a pinch more oomph to bump that 10 out. Pretty good shot there. Norm knows it. It's just a little bit more in the back part of the lane to kick that 10 out.
If you're thinking roll-off, Norm Duke is 6-0 in his career. Saw him a couple years ago, Long Island on TV against your former roommate Dave Traber, win a roll-off and win that tournament. Jason Couch is 5-2 in roll-offs in his career.
Yeah, I threw Traber out after he lost to Norm, so that's why he's the former roommate.
I see. That's the reason.
Yeah, because if he would have won, he was going to buy dinner.
One at a time. One at a time.
Gotta have it. There's one.
Hey, that makes up for the 6-8 that he left in the 9th frame.
Good clean living.
That's why he got that break, huh, Jace? Almost at a 7-10 there.
Make your move, commit.
There's two. One more, and we have got a roll-off.
You heard him say it, make your move and commit. He did, he threw it great. When Jason Couch's ball hits there, there's not going to be a whole lot left standing.
Commit.
He needed 3. He gets 3. We've got a roll-off. You won it! You got it! What? Was I going anywhere? No! Roll-off rules, Randy. The higher seed has a choice of lane and order. Each player one shot. Higher pinfall wins to take on Parker Bohn III, our top seed. And our tournament director, Kirk Von Kruger, will explain more.
Ladies and gentlemen, by PBA rule, all tie games must be broken by a one-ball sudden death roll-off. Jason Couch is the higher qualifier. He will have start of choice, he will have start of order and starting lane.
I'll start lane 48.
Jason is elected to start on lane 48. If they both continue to tie, they will alternate lanes in the same order until the tie is broken.
Thank you, Kirk. So here we go, folks. A roll-off. And as we mentioned, Duke is perfect in his career. At 6-0, Jason Couch 5-2.
One good shot.
6, down she goes, a strike, and Norm's got a match. Otherwise, he's done. Everything run from Couch.
Everything going Jason's way right now. He's got the pin carry gods on his side. Trips the 6 late. He knows how big that is.
Got to be tough here for Norm, who's been sitting on the bench watching Jason Couch strike out. Need the strike to match. 10-pin, and it's over.
Another week 10 did in Norm Duke.
Hey, boy, homie.
You are the luckiest guy I've ever seen in my life. You're so lucky.
Green lemon, baby.
I tell you what, you would pull out a 52-pound bass out of Claremont.
The two neighbors from Florida finish up in incredibly exciting fashion. Jason Couch wins a roll-off. A congratulatory kiss from his wife. Now he's got Parker Bohn III to deal with next.
Hi, I'm Parker Bohn III from Jackson, New Jersey. Watch me bowl one game today to win it all.
A day to remember for the great Pete Weber, paying tribute to his late father Dick Weber here in Fountain Valley, California. Has it ever been exciting? We had a roll-off involving Jason Couch and Norm Duke. Couch survives to take on Parker Bohn III, leading us to the Geico Championship recap.
In match number 1, it was Mike Machuga defeating Chris Loschetter by the score of 236 to 154. And in match number 2, Norm Duke defeated Mike Machuga by the score of 212 to 168. Match number 3 saw Jason Couch and Norm Duke tie 213 to 213 before Jason Couch wins it in a roll-off 10 to 9. Norm leaves the flat 10. He's done for the day, setting up a great all-lefty championship match for the Denny's PBA Tours Dick Weber Open.
Well, I think the greens fees have got to be on Jason Couch next time he and Norm play golf in Claremont.
Jason doesn't play golf. He plays flog. It's golf backwards.
Now it's the top seed from Jackson, New Jersey. Another PBA Hall of Famer. Parker Bohn III. Top seed. Great start. Already nothing quite like the roll-off. Our first since the U.S. Open. Speaking of New Jersey, in North Brunswick last year, Mika Koivuniemen, Patrick Allen won eventually by PA.
Roll-offs are fun to watch. They're exciting. I think the one that everybody remembers is the Norm Duke Dave Traber one. That went 3 or 4 shots, and Traber struck out in the 10th frame to tie, and a lot of trash talking going on. It's real exciting.
Late trip again.
Like I said.
On number 6, and Jason Couch is having a lot of fun with this, isn't he?
Absolutely. Got a whole lot more.
How about this carry? Every opponent's nightmare and every bowler's dream right there.
His 12th career title, Vernon Hills, Illinois, outside Chicago, just a couple of months ago. Yes! All 10 down. Jason Couch, who is thinking about Player of the Year himself. Why not? Could be 2 titles if he wins today, leading us to the Ace Hardware matchup.
And it's our first and only lefty-lefty matchup. Parker Bohn was never lower than 2nd throughout the entire tournament. Taking on his best friend, ex-roommate, Jason Couch.
He zoned him on TV. 3 or 4 title matches. Look out, light hit way off the mark. 1-3-6-9.
Well, lost it off his hand and whiffs the head pin. Parker won his only major against Jason Couch at the Masters. Right now, you've got to wonder, is Dick Weber looking down on Jason Couch? A tremendous carry. Opponents whipping the head pin.
No.
Parker whipping the spare.
That. Open frame early, never got the head pin down, and just like that, he's down 24 pins as Couch has started with a double.
I mean, you know, this is just inexplicable. I mean, how do you explain what Parker just did there after bowling as great as he has all week long, and he gets up, misses the head pin, and whiffs the spare? He missed the head pin twice in one frame.
There's a rebound on the other lane. Trying to snap a 20-event winless streak. Dating back to last season in El Paso, Texas, his last title. 30 career wins, 5th all-time. Pete Weber has 32. Mark Roth, 34. Walter Williams Jr., 40. And late, great Earl Anthony, of course, has 41. Walter Ray, by the way, can boast last week, this week as well. Had a good run at it, trying to make the show again. This moment belongs to two southpaws.
That wasn't the right move.
Looked like he moved a little bit further in and got a little bit more hand, which is normal. I mean, the further in you move, the more you want to touch the holes with your fingers at the bottom of the swing, and there's no way to keep that ball on line for Jason Couch.
2-4-7-10, Randy. How does he go about this one?
He's got to get the ball over to the left side of the 2, drive the 2 into the 10. The ball will take out the 4-7.
Remember, in his match with Norm Duke, he was left with some challenging shots. And he responded. Hitting 3 in the 10th to force a roll-off. He won that as well and comes up with a huge spare here.
Yeah, it's really big because he avoids an open frame, but more importantly, he can now, instead of focusing on an open, now he can focus on what kind of move, what kind of adjustment he needs to make.
.60 feet to success, Jason Couch. He's got a 28-pin lead on Parker Bohn III. The Dick Weber Open Final continues next. Late hit. A break for Parker.
The lane's not that tough.
Well, he's making it look tough. He's talking about the right lane, but right there he gets a nice break. The left tap on the 10-pin to remain within 20. Right now, Jason Couch with a strike here can take a 30-pin lead.
No re-rack? Okay.
ESPN's coverage of the PBA Tour rolls on. Coverage of the Phoenix Classic. The greatest bowlers in the world work the lanes. AMF Christown Lanes. The Valley of the Sun for a piece of the $232,000 prize. And a one-year tour exemption. That's next week. 1 Eastern from Phoenix. Yes! All 10 down for Jason Couch.
Yeah, he made a ball changer, Dave. You can see just how much less, or how less aggressive that ball was as it was going down the lane. Again, it gets into that power zone, that swish half-pocket zone for Jason Couch. It's a happy place for his ball to hit.
Randy, how does Jason deal with the emotions of the roll-off with Norm Duke and then regroup for a charge at Parker?
It's all in the coconut, man. You put it behind you. You know, Jason's been here before. He knows the job at hand, and right now you just think about making good shots.
Come on, baby. Yes!
Wow. Right now, Jason Couch really putting it to Parker Bohn III, Dave. Again, using two different balls. Ball change on the right lane. And then this shot.
Yes!
He has caught fire. And Turkey there in frames 4 through 6. Now Parker working on a strike. 6th frame.
Cuts the deficit to 30 with that hit. And in my opinion, even though we're only through 6 frames, I feel that in order for Parker Bohn to win this tournament, he must strike out from here on in. It'll put him in the 240s. It'll give him 246. Jason Couch right now going at 226.
Top seeds. That's what Parker is, Randy. 14 of 22 title matches since match play was put into the PBA Tour.
Gary!
Not the 7-pin there for him.
That's the hit that did in Norm Duke, and that's the hit that may inevitably do in Parker Bohn III. But you don't see Jason Couch leaving that week 7 because of that high rev rate.
There's his spare. The tournament coming almost exactly a year to the day since his last title. It was January 16th of 2005. A win in El Paso, Texas. That lead may be insurmountable now. Couch looks very comfortable. Parker, of course, sporting the DW patch, as is Jason Couch. All of our bowlers in honor of Dick Weber. 7th frame for Jason.
Yes! He's thinking the right thoughts. He's making the shots. He's making the adjustments. And when his ball hits the pocket, it's striking.
41-pin lead.
Good shot.
This could all but lock it up for Jason Couch right here. That puts Jason Couch in the 240s. The best Parker Bohn III can shoot is 225. Jason needs a mark in either the 9th or 10th frame to win this championship.
The lead balloons to 51 pins with a 5-bagger for Jason Couch. Big hill to climb. Parker Bohn III there. Our 10 down for him. His 21st year on the PBA Tour. Of course, all the bowlers reflecting their feelings on the stepladder final. All 5 made it. They're very pleased to see PBA go old school this week. PBA.com fan poll overwhelmingly supporting this format. And Randy, you enjoy it too.
I really did. I really enjoy the stepladder finals. I like to see a guy, you know, start from the bottom, gain momentum, and kind of go from the bottom to the top. He becomes the crowd favorite. You know, the crowd gets behind him. Just nice to watch that kind of momentum. Right now, Jason Couch looking for any mark here in the 9th frame with decent count, and he's going to win.
Good shot. Good shot.
Seven pins. Avoids a split. He's looking there for a 6-bagger.
Again, a spare here, good count. First ball in the 10th frame, he's a winner. If he chops this, he'll need a mark in the 10th frame to win.
Nicely done, stays clean. 7 pins, and he's a winner.
For you, Dick Weber! Yes!
He'll take 9 instead. And the 2006 Dick Weber Open. Pete appreciates every shot, every pin knocked down today in tribute to his father. And for the 13th time,
I win the Dick Weber Open.
Absolutely.
his career, Jason Couch. PBA champion again. Win number 2 this year.
Yeah, and you really start to have to add Jason Couch's name to that Player of the Year race.
Thank you.
Leaves the best for last. Jason Hurd, his roommate. We saw Carmen Salvino, great PBA champion. 17-time
Can't
winner
believe
also.
I got lucky like Parker. Thank you.
And of course, I'll have some fun at this. The 2 lefties.
There'll be others.
Parker will finish up a great week as the top seed. Just had to win the one match. With the man raising the trophy, the pride of Claremont, Florida. Jason Couch wins one for Dick Weber today. The Dick Weber Open on ESPN is brought to you by Dexter, where you can play with the pros. Enter to win at DexterShoe.com. By Bear, the more you know, the more you trust Bear. By Ace, the official hardware store of the PBA. Ace, the helpful place. And by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. This year, let the tax experts at Jackson Hewitt help you get the biggest refund you deserve. Jason Couch wins his lucky 13th career title. He's joined now by a special guest, Ann Randy.
And here to present the trophy to the winner of the inaugural Dick Weber Open is 32-time titleist Pete Weber.
Jason, on behalf of the entire Weber family, we want to present you with this Dick Weber Open trophy. You were the only one to conquer that left lane or the right lane, so you deserved it. Congratulations. May you win many more.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks. I just want to thank everybody here at Fountain Bowl and the Dick Weber family. They are all first class. And Dick, you were with me today with all the luck on my side. I love you, man. I miss you.
Congratulations, Jason. Dave?
Truly the ambassador of bowling. Dick Weber and Jason Couch wins in his honor today. Don't forget Motel 6, Phoenix Classic next week. Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Live coverage on ESPN of the Denny's PBA Tour rolls on from the Valley of the Sun. Congrats goes to Jason Couch today. Now for the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Fountain Valley, California. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Jason Couch gets his 13th win with his wife Kim watching closely in incredibly dramatic fashion. History today, great to watch. World's strongest man coming up next here on ESPN. Man of the moment, Jason Couch.